Hello and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syed Muhammad SYAUQI bin Syed AKHYAR AMINI, and today we are going to present a presentation for article reviews titled Exploring Societal Shifts Through Language, Gender, Age, and Address Forms. Over the next few slides, we will be exploring how language as a key of societal tool mirrors and influences societal changes, particularly through the lens of gender, age, and social status. These factors play significant roles in shaping modern communication patterns, and by examining them closely, we can gain a deeper understanding of societal evolution. Our discussion begins with the central question: do factors such as age, gender, and social status still impact how society functions today? These social markers have always influenced how individuals navigate societal structures, but with the rapid pace of modernity, the dynamics of these factors have shifted in interesting ways. This presentation is based on a review of scholarly articles, surveys, and research studies. We will explore how today's societies unravel their environments, how new generation adapts to changing societal norms, and what shifts have occurred over time. The central inquiry guiding this presentation asks whether traditional societal markers such as age, gender, and social status continue to hold sway in shaping our interactions. By investigating this question, we seek to uncover whether these factors remain influential or if their roles have diminished as society evolves. Do these categories still dictate how we communicate, how power is distributed, and how people interact in modern settings? The primary objective of this review is to investigate how contemporary societies understand and adapt to the complexities of today's world. Specifically, we aim to uncover how different generations interact with changing social norms and how they adjust to shifting societal expectations. The insights we gather from this investigation will help us understand the transformation of social structures over time and how these shifts are reflected in everyday language and communication. A key area of focus for this study is the intersection of language and social categories, specifically gender, age, and social status. This area of study falls under the branch of sociolinguistics, which explores how language functions within social contexts. Sociolinguistics reveals that language is not just a passive tool for communication. It actively shapes and is shaped by societal norms. For example, how we address each other often reflects underlying power structures and societal expectation. In this review, we'll examine how these social factors influence forms of address and in turn reveal broader societal dynamics. Our review centers on two key articles that provide a rich analysis of these issues from different cultural contexts. The first article focuses on Western society, where there has been a revival of traditional terms like lady and gentleman. The resurgence of these terms could be interpreted as a nostalgic return to a time when politeness and formality were more highly valued. Or it could be a reaction to the uncertainties brought about by modern social changes. The second article takes a different cultural perspective, examining how age and gender influence forms of address in Persian society. In Persian culture, age plays a particularly significant role. often more so than gender, in determining how people communicate and address one another. The first article explores the re-emergence of terms such as lady and gentleman in Western contexts. These titles, once considered outdated, are experiencing a revival in certain social circles, particularly those that place a premium on civility and politeness. This resurgence may suggest that some people are looking to the past for guidance in an increasingly complex and, at times, fractured society. The return of these traditional terms could be viewed as a way to re-establish formal boundaries and respect in social interactions, signaling a desire to revive older, perhaps simpler, codes of behavior in response to modern complexity. In contrast to the Western focus on gender-specific terms, the second article examines Persian culture, where age plays a more dominant role than gender in shaping how people are addressed. In Persian society, elders are revered, and this is reflected in the formal ways younger individuals speak to those older than them. The article reveals that while gender is an important factor in many cultures, it is age that significantly influences social interaction in Persian society. This suggests a deep-rooted cultural value placed on respecting one's elders, which shapes not only personal relationships but also broader societal norms. The purpose of this review is to assess how language reflects the evolution of societal norms, particularly in relation to the increasing discussion surrounding politeness, civility, and social roles. By comparing these two cultural contexts, Western and Persian, we can gain insights into how societal expectations shape the way people communicate. Language serves as a critical lens through which we can observe shifts in civility and social interaction. As society evolves, so too do the ways in which individuals address one another, reflecting broader changes in how power and respect are negotiated. Language often serves as a mirror for societal changes. In the case of Western society, the revival of traditional terms like lady and gentleman reflects a complex interplay between nostalgia and modernity. This could signal a longing for the perceived civility of past eras, or it might be a reaction to contemporary challenges that call for clearer social boundaries. On the other hand, in Persian culture, the persistence of age-based forms of address shows that respect for elders remains a strong societal value. Even as other aspects of society continue to evolve, these differences highlight how diverse cultures adapt to social changes in their own ways. The re-emergence of traditional forms of address in Western society opens up a larger conversation about the role of politeness and civility in public discourse. In an era where social norms are in flux, people often look to the past to regain a sense of order and stability. The use of terms like lady and gentleman may reflect a desire to bring back clear markers of respect and formality in social interactions. This revival suggests that even as societies become more informal in certain respects, there remains a strong undercurrent of longing for traditional forms of decorum. In both articles, the concept of social groups plays a central role in shaping individual identity and interaction. Social groups, whether defined by age, gender, or status, determine not only how individuals interact with others, but also how they view themselves within the social hierarchy. Understanding the role of these groups is critical for navigating relationships in increasingly complex societies. As we become more interconnected globally, understanding these group dynamics helps us better navigate interactions across cultures, as well as within our own societies. Both articles contribute to an ongoing conversation about the fluid nature of language. Language is never static, it evolves alongside societal shifts and reflects the changing nature of civility, expectation, and social roles. As societies transform, language adapts to reflect new realities. For example, the resurgence of traditional terms in Western society may be seen as an attempt to retain a sense of order, while the prominence of age-based address in Persian culture reflects deeply rooted values that remain influential despite societal change. Through language, we can observe these transformations and gain deeper insights into the fabric of society. From our review, it is clear that both age and gender remain significant factors in shaping how people communicate. In Western society, traditional titles such as lady and gentleman are making a comeback, suggesting that societal values around civility and politeness are still important. In Persian culture, respect for elders, reflected in age-based form of address, continues to sway. This finding underscore the idea that while society may be evolving, certain cultural value, such as respect for age or the desire for politeness, remain relevant in guiding social interaction. Implications of these findings are far-reaching. They reveal that language is not only a tool for communication, but also a reflection of deeper social ethics. The intersection of language with gender, age, and social status illustrates how societal values influence the ways in which individuals address and interact with one another. Understanding these relationships is crucial for navigating modern social dynamics. As society becomes more diverse and interconnected, recognizing the role that language plays in shaping social interaction will become increasingly important. Lastly, this review has highlighted how linguistic choice serves as a reflection of broader societal shifts. Whether through the revival of traditional terms in Western contexts or the prioritization of age in Persian forms of address, language continues to be a vital lens through which we can understand the evolution of societal norms. By analyzing these factors across different cultural contexts, we gain a clearer understanding of how societies evolve and adapt over time.
So in 2.0, I'm going to talk about the article called Ladies, Gentlemen, and Guys, the Gender Politics of Politeness. This article was written by Sona Peldon, Elizabeth Rayboy, Magdalena Gorbeler, Quato Adusi Ascenter, and Lucy Hopkins, and this article was published on 15 February 2019. In this article, I'm going to talk about how society's politeness work in today's world that also tied to gender norms. Secondly, the role of ladies and gentlemen that reflects and fulfills gender roles. And lastly, the term guys reflects the norms of both men and women for the rise of gender-neutral and informal terms. This article argues that while the changes of the new terms keep changing in the future, they have not fully eliminated them in challenge of traditional gender dynamics. first main point is the gender expectations are always tied to politeness in addressing both men and women, and to shape the expectation in order to communicate with them. One claims that I found in this article and can relate for myself, and the others are women tend to have stricter expectations and high standards of politeness compared to men. Baybot 1995 claims the word lady in Britain, traditionally marked by social class linked to dominant upper class behavior. For instance, women need to be submissive, dependent, emotional, weak, and sensitive, rather than men. In the end, men hold more opportunities without being seen as a rude person in society due to the power they hold. Another key argument I found in this article is the term of ladies and gentlemen that have given away from time to time to the term guys as gender neutral addresses and are often used by many. Carey 2016 claims that the term of guy was accepted as an informal setting and turned into plural guy to guys. By the mid-19th century, the guy term meant a man, according to McLennan 2004. And also, McLennan 2004 argued that Dr. Catherine Travis, a language expert with Australian National University, stated that the phrase "you guys" had become acceptable to all genders and said the term guy can be both gender-free and that it is actually obstacle gender. It is a man's name, so it functions like the universal man and supposedly included women, claimed by Carey 2016. According to Carey 2016, the term guy can be used by both female and male because this term is not intentionally to erase the femininity and masculinity among the people or remove the traditions back then. Yet, this term is reinforcing the notion masculinity to both genders and expectations and much more acceptable in today's world. Even there may be protests about term of guy use, especially female, the language and words will evolve to reflect the cultural shifts and to show gender neutrality often used in today's setting, rather than continuously challenge the gender hierarchies back then.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NARISHA CAMELIA binti NORHISYAM. So our second article that we chose is about the role of age and gender in the choice of address form, which basically a sociolinguistic study. For the article identification, the article title is The Role of Age and Gender in the Choice of Address Forms, a Sociolinguistic Study. It was written by Mahzab Mardiha, and the journal title is International Journal of Applied Linguistics and English Literature in 2012. Now, let us take a look on our summary. So, the summary of our article is the study examines on how social factors such as age and gender can influence the choice of address forms in Persian, particularly when deciding whether to use formal or informal pronouns. So, in Persian, there are two main pronouns used to address someone. The first one is shoma, which is for the formal one, and the other one is to, which is for the informal one. The study looks at how people choose between two main forms based on social situations. The study involved 30 university students, which an equal number of men and women. The goal was to understand how they made choices about pronoun use in different social contexts. The study found that people often adjust their pronoun use depending on the age or gender of the person they are talking to. For instance, someone might be more likely to use formal shoma when addressing an older person or someone from a higher social status background. So in Persian culture and language, the way people address one another is deeply influenced by formality, relationships, and also respect. This is particularly evident in the frequent use of titles, honorifics, and formal terms. Again, in Persian, it is common to use general titles such as Mr. or Mistress, as well as occupational job like doctor or engineer, to show respect and formality. These terms help clarify the relationships between the speakers, especially in terms of hierarchy or social distance. The choice of which title to use often depends on the age, gender, or even social class of the person being addressed. For example, an older individual or someone in a position of authority might be addressed more formally to show respect. So, in Persian culture, these forms of address are not just polite but also essential for maintaining proper social relationships. They help speakers navigate complex social hierarchies and communicate respect in a variety of settings. So, the use of titles, honorifics, and formal terms in Persian is a way to express formality, respect, and awareness to social roles influenced by factors like age, gender, and social class.
Next, we will move on to the methodology for the study, which consists of Persian-speaking participants, which are divided into two groups, which are the male and the female groups of university students that speak in Persian. So they are required to join the questionnaire, and the next material for the questionnaire, they consist of two parts, which are the task of categorization possible, and they must also choose the specific address forms of different ages and genders. So the next one, they move on to the procedure, which the participants are given the forum separately to address their sociolinguistic competences in the use of Colombian pronouns of address. This is to help them understand the motives of the study. And then that concludes the methodology session, and it's on to the data analysis.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Now let's continue to the discussion for Article 1, which is Ladies, Gentlemen and Guys, the Gender Politics of Politeness. So the effectiveness of addressing the topic. Okay, for me personally, the author really success in addressing gender norms. As you can see, Pelden 2019 effectively analyzed how language influences and reflects societal views on gender. For example, they explore traditional terms like lady and gentleman, highlighting their historical roots and societal expectation tied to class and behavior. Okay, so moving on, the article also contrasts these terms with the rise of modern gender-neutral language, particularly the use of guys. So this is some key insight. So, the author emphasized that women often face stricter standards for politeness than men. So, this insight is crucial as it sheds light on the ongoing societal pressure women experience, shaping interaction and communication styles in various social contexts. So, based on this analysis, we can highlight that women face more pressure to be polite compared to men. So the difference plays a big role in how we understand social behavior. So let's move forward to the next slide, which is the trueness and usefulness of explanation, which is the comprehensive analysis. So basically, the article provides a true examination of how the meanings of words like lady, gentleman, and guys have evolved over time. So for example, as you can see, it highlights how the term guys have evolved to be used as a gender-neutral term, reflecting society's push towards inclusivity. So, Carey 2016 said the shift of guys into a more inclusive term showcased the dynamic nature of language in response to cultural shift, indicating society's growing need for inclusivity. So let's move forward to the contribution and importance to the field. So one significant contribution is that the article significantly contributes to sociolinguistics by demonstrating how language not only describe but also influence social dynamics, particularly in concerning gender roles.
So it helps us understand the power of words in either supporting traditional ideas or promoting more equal and inclusive way of thinking. So let's move forward to the implication of the analysis. So the findings encourage researchers to delve deeper into the relationship between language and societal norms, analyzing how linguistic choice can reinforce or challenge existing power structures. So in understanding this shift in language is vital for promoting gender equality and respectful communication in both personal and professional contexts. So by showcasing how language reflects societal changes, the article highlights the importance of adapting our speech to foster inclusivity. So now let's move forward to the analysis of biases and the counter-arguments of the article. So as you can see, one potential bias is the focus of women's experience with politeness, which may overshadow the pressures that men face to conform to specific gender expectations. So the authors do not explore in detail how traditional masculinity influences male communication, styles, and interaction with others, which could provide a more balanced view of gender dynamics. So moving forward to the counter-arguments, the assertion that guys serves as a gender-neutral term could be contested by critics who argue that it still conveys masculine connotation. So, by addressing these counter-arguments, it would strengthen the article's analysis by providing a more nuanced understanding of the implication of language choice and ensuring a well-rounded discussion of the topic. Alright, this is the final part of the discussion, which is the target audience and my personal reflection to the article. So, for the target audience, this article is particularly valuable for students and researchers in fields such as sociolinguistic, gender studies, and communication, as it offers insight into involving nature of language and social implication. Personally, I found the article to be a well-structured and insightful analysis of the relationship between language and societal values. For me, the author successfully demonstrate that language is not just a tool for communication, but also a reflection of how we perceive and treat each other. But however, I believe that the article could have provided a more comprehensive analysis by including perspective from non-Western cultures and addressing the critiques surrounding the use of guy and a supposedly neutral term, right? So for me, I think the article is well balanced as it provides both weakness and strength. But overall, I think it is a good article. Thank you very much. Now let's move forward to the second part of this discussion.
So now, let us take a look at our discussion. So, the author of this article effectively examines how age and gender can influence the forms of address in Persian. This study is well structured and provides a thorough review of these sociolinguistic factors impact language use. So, one of the key takeaways from the study is that age plays a significant role than gender in determining which pronouns are used in formal address. Both men and women tend to use the formal pronoun shoma when speaking to older individuals, regardless of their gender. This conclusion is supported by data from surveys filled out by 30 individuals where patterns in pronoun usage were observed. The results show that men tend to use shoma when speaking to older men but shift to the informal tone with younger friends. So, interestingly, the study found that women follow similar patterns, with age being the stronger factor in pronoun selection, rather than gender. The author connects these findings to sociolinguistic theories, particularly those of Brown and Gilman, 1960, which discuss how authority and solidarity shapes form of address. This theoretical framework helps to show that pronoun use in Persian reflects social norms of respect and hierarchy, especially when it comes to age. In conclusion, the study demonstrates that in Persian, the choice of formal and informal pronouns mirrors social expectations around difference, particularly in terms of age, making it a crucial factor in understanding modes of address. So now, this article, written by Mardiha in 2012, offers a detailed discussion on how age and gender influence the choice of address forms in Persian. It provides valuable insights into the field of sociolinguistics. The main significance of Mardiha's research lies in its exploration of the Persian pronoun system and how social factors, specifically age and gender, shape language use. The study adds depth to our understanding of how sociolinguistic elements influence communication. One of the key findings is that age plays a more significant role than gender when it comes to pronoun selection. In Persian, speakers choose between the formal pronoun shoma and the informal to largely based on the age of the person they are addressing. This conclusion is strongly supported by quantitative data from Mardiha's 2012 research, which provides solid evidence for the claim that age influences pronoun choice more than gender. So, in summary, the study gives us a clear picture of how social elements like age impact language use, particularly in pronoun selection, and it contributes important insights to the broader study of sociolinguistics. The article emphasized that age has a greater influence than gender on how formal pronouns are used in Persian interactions. It highlights the importance of age in determining whether to use formal or informal language. For example, the study shows that men use the formal pronoun shoma when addressing older women. Similarly, women use this formal pronoun when interacting with older men or men of their own age. According to Mardiha 2012, men address older women with the formal pronoun shoma, while women use it in interactions with older men or peers. This pattern suggests that in Persian culture, age is a more powerful marker of social hierarchy than gender. This finding adds to the ongoing conversation about how language reflects social dynamics, showing that respect and formality are closely tied to age. The author supports this argument effectively by incorporating data tables and empirical results, which clearly shows distinctions in pronoun usage across different age groups. This evidence reinforces the idea that age plays a significant role in shaping language use in Persian. So, in summary, the study highlights that while gender has an influence, age is the stronger factor in determining formality in Persian address forms, reflecting the cultural emphasis on age-related social hierarchy. The significance of this article lies in its focus on the use of address forms in Persian, an area that hasn't been extensively researched before. It provides new insights into how language use reflects social relationships, particularly through pronoun selection. Mardiha connects the use of pronouns in Persian to influential theories by Brown and Gilman 1960, which deal with power dynamics and solidarity in language. This connection offers a valuable cross-cultural perspective on how language reflects social hierarchies and interpersonal relationships. This study encouraged further exploration of how language use is shaped by social factors like age and gender in other language and societies. It opens the door to cross-cultural comparisons, helping us understand how different languages express social dynamics. By doing so, this research contributes to the development of sociolinguistic theories and practical language studies, providing a foundation for future research on how social factors influence language use globally. So, in summary, Mardiha's article not only depends on our understanding of Persian language use, but also offers valuable insights into how language reflects social power structures, motivating further research in this area. So, while the article is thorough and well-researched, there are a few potential biases that need to be considered when evaluating the findings. The sample size used in the study is relatively small, with only 30 university students participating in the survey. This small sample may limit how well the findings can be generalized to the wider population. Additionally, the study focuses exclusively on the use of personal pronouns, excluding other forms of address like titles or kinship terms. Including these could have provided a more comprehensive understanding of Persian address systems. However, it is important to note that the author acknowledged these limitations, which adds a level of transparency and reliability to the study. So, overall, while the scope and sample size present certain limitations, the study remains an important contribution to the field, particularly in exploring how age and gender influence pronoun usage in Persian. So, I agree with the author's argument that age is a more significant factor than gender in determining the formality of pronoun use in Persian. The study effectively shows that younger individuals are often addressed informally based on their gender, whereas older individuals are given formal pronouns following Persian cultural traditions of showing respect to elders. What adds depth to this argument is how the author incorporates sociolinguistic theories which help explain why this behavior occurs in Persian society. The theoretical framework provides a solid rationale explaining that these pronoun choices reflect broader societal norms around difference and respect for age, making the argument even more convincing. So overall, the combination of cultural insights and theoretical analysis makes a compelling case for why age is a dominant factor in determining pronoun formality in Persian. The audience that would benefit most from this article include sociolinguists, language teachers, and researchers who are interested in cross-cultural communication. For sociolinguists and researchers, the article provides valuable insights into how social factors like age and gender shape language use, especially in less studied areas like Persian address forms. It contributes to broader discussion about how language reflects social structures. Language teachers, particularly those teaching Persian or focusing on sociolinguistic, can apply these insights to help students understand the cultural nuances behind formal and informal pronouns. Students studying Persian or professionals working in multicultural environments may find this article helpful for navigating social interactions in Iranian culture. Understanding these address forms can help them communicate more effectively and respectfully. So, in summary, this article is relevant to a wide range of readers interested in language, culture, and effective communication across different social contexts. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Now we reached to the conclusion part for the Article 1. The article, Ladies, Gentlemen, and Guys, the Gender Politics of Politeness argues that while cultural perceptions and language evolve over time, gender norms also undergo transformation as they continue to influence concept of politeness within society. By the conclusion of the essay, it becomes evident that women maintain high standards of courtesy towards others. However, societal expectations have historically shaped and continue to influence how men and women are anticipated to interact within various contexts. In contemporary society, the term guy has gained popularity as a more inclusive reference, transcending its traditional masculine connotation to apply individuals of any gender. This shift reflects an effort to create a more inclusive language that accommodates diverse identities while simultaneously navigating established gender norms. Ultimately, this study illustrates the detrimental effects of societal norms and the language that reinforce unequal power dynamic between genders. It highlights how these dynamics can limit genuine interactions and perpetuate stereotypes, showcasing the importance of ongoing discourse about language and its impact on gender relations in modern society. The evolution of language not only reflects changes in social attitudes, but also plays a critical role in shaping the future of gender interactions.
In conclusion, the role of age and genders in the choice of address forms, a sociolinguistic study provides conspicuous evidence that the same language can have different variables depending on one's gender regarding any sociolinguistic scenarios. With that said, the data shows that the scenarios contribute significant differences and significant roles on how different the male and female college or university students conversate with one another. And in this context, age also knows no bound. So there is no limit to where the use of honorifics and formality is absolute.